Hello, dear friends. Do you think that if you ask your loved one a question about an open relationship, could it lead to a sudden breakup of the relationship? Probably not, because it's just a question. But in the story we're about to tell, that's exactly what happened. But why? This you will understand closer to the middle of the story. Let's listen to this story published on Reddit. I asked my boyfriend his thoughts on an open relationship, and he broke up with me. How can I fix this? First off, let me start by saying that our age gap is not the issue here. My boyfriend is the best thing to happen to me in my adult life because of his age, not despite it. Over the 2 years we've been together, I've grown so much as a person thanks, in large part, to his gentle love and overwhelming support. None of my friends in long-term relationships have anything like what my boyfriend and I have, and they all say they wish they did. Also, he's more attractive and in better shape than all their boyfriends. So if your first reaction to this situation is that some dirty old man is taking advantage of a young naive girl, then you're wrong. And for the record, I was the one that asked him out first. I'm sorry if that comes across as defensive, but that seems to be the first reaction to our relationship by anyone who doesn't know us. We are both nurses. He is an administrative supervisor at my company. He trained me my first 2 weeks on the job, and we hit it off because we both love to work out and have a lot of things in common. Nothing happened then, but I just couldn't stop thinking about him. So after about a month, I stopped by his office after work and asked him out for coffee. 6 months later, I moved in with him. That first year was the best time I've ever had in a relationship. We traveled, ate out, went to shows and movies. He taught me so much about life. He would really engage with me and listen to what I had to say. He also wasn't afraid to ask me those really tough questions that made me look at situations from another perspective. He taught me how to stand up for myself and conflict resolution. The more time we spent together, the more I love him. Then lockdown happened. My boyfriend is not perfect. A major problem is he is a micromanager when it comes to work and a workaholic. As soon as lockdown started, he started working nonstop. Sometimes he would work 14 to 16 hours a day. From the end of April to the second week in June, he worked 36 days straight. He would come home, kiss me, work out, shower, and go to bed just to get up the next morning and do it all over again. No one asks him to work like that. He just does. He says, I have to be an advocate for our patients and make sure they're safe and taken care of. I won't lie, I got really lonely during this time. I talked to him about it, and he cut back some. He even started doing silly things like ordering cheesy decorations online, then decorating our dining room like a Chinese restaurant, and ordering takeout from our favorite Chinese place so it would feel like we went out. It was fun and nice, but I was still lonely. Around this time, an old friend from high school contacted me through Facebook. We started talking first on Instagram, then we started texting. He was really there for me and showed me a lot of attention. After a while, he asked if I wanted to meet up for drinks. Outdoor bars are open here. I said yes, since my boyfriend wasn't home. I ended up drinking more than I usually do. Before I knew it, we were kissing. I'm not going to lie, it felt really good. I did allow it to go too far, but I stopped it before we had sex. I left and went home. I felt awful, not because I did it, but because I did it behind my boyfriend's back. The next day, I asked my boyfriend if we could talk. I started out by telling him how lonely I felt for these past few months and how I wanted to ask his thoughts on an open relationship. He was actually really receptive. He sat down with me and asked several questions about our relationship and how strong did I think it was. He listened as I explained that I loved him but needed attention that he can't provide right now. I wanted him, but I didn't feel like my needs were being met, and this would be an easy and safe way for me to get that attention I've been missing. He asked what brought this on, and I explained about my friend and how I wasn't interested in a relationship with him, but I would like to go out with him just for some distraction from everything going on. He sat there for several minutes, and that's when I saw the hurt in his eyes. It wasn't till that moment I realized how selfish I had been. It was like someone poured ice water over me. I had not once thought about him in this entire situation. But before I could say a word, he said, "You need to leave." I tried to talk more, but he said he was not in a place emotionally to communicate with me effectively, and that I needed to give him space. I just broke down crying. I had messed it all up and hadn't even realized it till that moment. He left after that and asked me to leave before he got back. About 2 hours later, I got a text from him saying that we need some time apart, and he didn't feel like we needed to be in a relationship right now. That was 2 days ago. I'm at my parents' house now, and I can't eat or sleep. I'm a wreck. I know I'm a dumbass and a horrible person, but please, if you have any advice on how to fix this, please help. I am literally making myself sick over this, and I have no clue what to even say to him. Update. It's been over a week, and some people asked for an update, so here goes. He called last Tuesday and said he wanted to talk. I was both scared and over the moon because I took the advice so many people here gave me to give him space. We hadn't talked since the Saturday before, and I missed him like mad. He says he wants to meet at my parents' house, and I agreed, although I thought that was a little weird. When he pulled into the driveway, he sent me a text asking me to come outside. I went out to meet him, and he was standing in front of his car. I immediately saw that he had someone in the car with him, and I just broke down. I knew it was coming, and I didn't want to face it. He was so kind. He comforted me and helped me up on the porch where we both sat on the steps. I can't quote what was said, so this is paraphrased. He loved me, but my actions proved to him that we were in two different places in our lives, and he wasn't going to hold me back anymore. He said he knew I needed to live more and enjoy life before settling down. He apologized for holding me back for so long and thanked me for his best 2 years since his wife had died. I wanted to lay down on the ground and die right there. I just sobbed. It's all I could do. My dad finally came out and helped me back into the house. My dad then went back out and talked to my boyfriend. They talked for a while. I don't really remember how long because I was near hysterical at that point. My mom gave me something to help me relax. When my father came back and he whispered something to my mom, and she helped me upstairs to my room. I laid there for a while till I heard someone pull into the driveway. I looked out and saw that a moving truck had backed in. He had all my belongings at our place packed up and delivered to my parents' house. That's when I really lost all control of myself. I was crying so hard I didn't feel like I was in control of my own body anymore. My mom ended up sleeping in my room with me all night. In the past 3 days, I have been out of bed probably less than 10 times, and that was just to use the bathroom. I'm lost, and worse than that, I lost him. But I was finally able to eat today, so I figured I would give you all a look at the end of my world. So yes, Reddit, you were right, and he left me. You were right that I'm a horrible person, and I deserve this, but it still hurts really bad. Second story. My wife wants an open relationship, and I don't. I have no idea what to do. I'll try not to make this too long. My wife and I have been together for 16 years, married for 10. We have 2 amazing kids, aged 8 and 5. We've been mostly happy and have always been quite close, best friends, etc. About 2 years ago, my wife came to me and said she was interested in being poly and that she had a crush on a guy that she swam into at the pool that she saw a couple times a week. We went up and down and all around about it, and eventually he stopped swimming there, and we dropped the subject. That's until last spring when she met another man, let's call him Dan, who is part of the local poly community. He's married and has a couple of girlfriends. His wife has a serious boyfriend that she spends a few nights a week with. After some back and forth, I reluctantly agreed that she and Dan could go out for drinks. We didn't work things out beforehand, and I think we went into the situation with different expectations. As they began dating, it quickly became a constant argument between the two of us as to what the nature of their relationship was/could be. Their relationship moved, what felt like, quickly, and she became quite obsessed with him, spending time each day either with him, texting/emailing him, and having him generally occupy her thoughts. I became quite upset and pretty much unable to fully function on a daily basis. I felt seriously depressed for the first time in my life. I felt almost unable to hug or show affection towards my wife. I was turning down sex for the first time in my life. I felt like a zombie of myself at work and with friends. After a couple months of dating, they spent a day together on a date and got naked and did pretty much everything other than sex together. against my explicit wishes that they not move things along so quickly. Soon after that date, Dan got in touch with me directly, sensing that things between he and my wife were moving along quickly, to ask if I was consenting to the relationship that they were in. I sent back a long email expressing my sadness, disappointment, etc. I didn't say they couldn't date, but I expressed how hard this was for me. Soon after, he broke off the relationship with my wife. This was about a month ago, and she's still trying to work through the breakup. Since they broke up, my wife and I have been fighting almost daily about our situation. Basically, she's come to the place where she needs other relationships in her life and isn't sure if she'll stay married to me if I don't acquiesce. She needs to be able to seek other relationships and not have me put any limitations on what those relationships are or could be. I feel put between a rock and hard place, either saying no and destroying our family with separation or divorce, or saying yes and feeling stuck in a relationship that I don't think I want to be in. She keeps asking what she can do for me that will make having other relationships work for us. She says there's nothing missing in our relationship, simply that she wants to find love and sexual freedom outside of our marriage. This isn't what I signed up for. I feel like her having other relationships changes the nature of our relationship and the bond that we have as a couple. I want to feel like we can grow as a couple without seeking love outside our marriage. It's hard to put into words. I just don't feel like I'll be able to feel settled if she's finding love in other places. But how can I put my kids through a divorce? This isn't what they signed up for, and it completely breaks my heart to think that they will have to live with separate parents because we couldn't work it out. I find myself thinking that I want to just stay in the marriage and make it work for my kids, while sucking it up and losing what I want in a relationship with my wife. I realize that having a zombie father that isn't happy isn't a good choice for my kids either. I'm not particularly interested in other relationships myself. I really don't know what to do. I feel like my wife can't or won't give on living a poly life, and I don't know how to incorporate something that doesn't feel like what I want into my life. I can't imagine that this is a foreign topic here. Is there a way for the two of us to find happiness without ending our marriage? Thanks. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.